In this video, we're looking at Year 12 Economics, Globalization and Economic Development, and we're looking at why development differs between nations, and this video is part 2. So if you haven't seen part 1, please start there. In terms of the syllabus points, we're looking here, the reasons for differences between nations. So in the previous video, I distinguished between global factors, and now we're looking at the domestic factors. So why does economic development differ between different countries? Okay, in terms of domestic factors, it's because each country has different access to economic resources. And it's also because of institutional factors, such as the strength of government in those nations. So let's start with the disparate or unequal access to economic resources. So the fact is that some countries have greater access to key economic resources than others. So some can easily access commodities and oil, which is really important in terms of economic growth and development. Others have stronger education systems and have put more money into education, which has helped to train more skilled workers. Others have access to greater capital and technology and entrepreneurs. All of this will create different conditions in each country, and it could create conditions where some countries can develop much stronger than others. For instance, Australia has significantly benefited from access to high quality natural resources in terms of being able to construct things ourselves and in terms of being able to sell these to other people and to take that income to further develop and increase their own material living standards. Also, Singapore has created world-class service industries through its focus on education. Its people are extremely skilled, well-trained, well-educated. In contrast, nations who find it difficult to access capital, as in money, and capital goods will experience lower levels of economic development. So if a country has greater access to economic resources, it will have a greater chance to develop in an economic sense than other nations. Another factor to think about in terms of why countries experience different economic development is in terms of institutional factors. So the strength of a country's institutions can affect the level of economic development. What do we mean by institutions? This includes the honesty and the strength of government. If governments are corrupt, well then there's no guarantee that capital and investment will go to the right places to help it develop. Some legal systems in some countries don't operate in an effective or transparent fashion. So this means that the legal system does not work well, and investors would not want to invest in that country because if something goes wrong, well then their legal system can't be trusted. It's also important to look at how effective tax collection is, because tax is a huge source, the main source of government revenue. And without that government revenue, governments then can't invest in terms of infrastructure and other elements, healthcare, education, that improve the material and overall well-being of its citizens. Also, the appropriateness of government economic policies. If you have a sort of a really robust and considered government in power, then they can be trusted to put the right policies in place to help the economy grow and develop. So if a country lacks these kind of institutional factors or is weak on these institutional factors, then it is likely to develop to a lesser extent than a country that is much stronger on these institutional factors.